Hello and welcome to Set for Smash Moveset Concept, where we look at characters within the realm of video games and see how they would work in Super Smash Bros. And today is Fighter Pass number 3's final character, codenamed Greenlight. And it is, of all people, Frogger. And yes, I know this is a really weird choice, but hear me out on this one. Frogger first appeared in 1981 in the arcade classic known as Frogger by Konami, and is another one of those iconic arcade games people used to love. And in the past few decades, more specifically late 90s and the early 2000s, Frogger has had a bit of an identity crisis trying to stick with the modern games. So much, in fact, that it was actually really hard to decide how this moveset would work at first. But I've decided to actually keep it original with some unique ideas integrating with Frogger in some way or form. With the only exception being anything from Frogger and the Great Quest, because
the game is actual diarrhea, no!
And even though Frogger is an iconic Konami character, there are probably far more better choices that Konami would choose, with the only exception that Konami is, well, Konami. So let's see whether or not Frogger has what it takes to jump into Smash Bros. Beginning with the details, his height was a tricky idea of concept. With his design being based more on his modern look, he actually stands really high and tall, but in Super Smash Bros. He'll actually be sitting down like, his classic look, being in a downward crouch similar to Greninja. Being, of course, well, a frog, Frogger is actually a really light character with an average speed, but with below average attack and very weak defense. But he does make up for that with above average knockback and 2 very high jumps. He's also capable of wall jumping and clinging onto walls. When entering a stage, Frogger will just hop right in. And the series symbol was a little tricky because I was not really a big fan of the remake design, so I'd actually decided to go with the classic arcade look of Frogger, with a unique twist. Same with his victory theme. Though the rendition is from Frogger 2, Swampy's Revenge on the PlayStation 1, this theme song is technically based off the original victory theme of the game. For Frogger's taunts, his first will have him standing on his hind legs and doing a stretch, similar to how Ridley stands tall, showing how tall he actually is. For his second taunt, Frogger will just croak, because he is a frog. And for his third taunt, he'll actually hop in a 360 spin. It's a reference to how you can spin Frogger around before choosing where to jump, in the GameCube and Game Boy Advance games. For his costumes, his default design will be based off his modern look. While the rest of the color palettes are also somewhat of a reference to other Frogger games, they are also references to other types of frogs. Take a wild guess what each color palette's based off in the comments below, with the second color palette being yellow, color palette 3 being blue, color palette 4 being purple, color palette 5 being orange, color palette 6 being cyan blue, color palette 7 being pink, and the last color palette will make him a lighter green with standard green spots. Some people would actually say this is a reference to the Great Quest, but again,
the game is actual diarrhea, no!
It's actually more of a reference to the classic look of Frogger, just without a yellow mouth or belly because, he's wearing clothes. For his victory animations, his first one will have him eating a fly, and then looking at the camera in victory. For his second victory animation, he'll jump in a safe spot and then look at the camera, and he'll have a happy look, knowing that he's in a safe place. For his final victory animation, a truck will drive by and dust will appear, and once when the dust clears, you see Frogger made to the other side of the road. Moving on to Frogger's standard attacks. His jab will just be a 1-2 punch. For Frogger's dash attack, he'll just do a headbutt. I should also note when Frogger runs, he does a small little hop in front of him. Again, more referencing the classic Frogger games. For his side tilt, he'll clap his hands in front of him. Somewhat similar to Donkey Kong's side smash, only vastly weaker. For his up tilt, it'll be same as Banjo-Kazooie's. For his down tilt, he'll do a leg sweep that'll actually have some incredible reach, even off the edge. For his side smash, he'll swing out his tongue like a whip. For his up smash, he'll swing his tongue upward whip-like, meaning that Frogger's tip of his tongue will have the top amount of damage, while his down smash will be a stomping animation, similar to Ridley's. For his standard aerial, he'll actually croak and then inflate his body, pushing anyone close to him away, while his forward aerial will be an axe kick, his back aerial will be a drop kick, his up aerial will be an upward crescent kick, and for his downward aerial will be a foot stomp. And no, this move will not spike or send Frogger flying down. For his grabbing animations, he'll pick up foes two-handed, and for his pummel, he'll do a knee jab, with his forward throw being a drop kick, his back throw being a back kick, his up throw having a super high jump slam, similar to characters like Kirby and Charizard, and for his down throw, he'll stomp on the opponent, sending him upwards. Next up is the special attacks, and I think this was probably the hardest thing for me to choose, especially for someone like Frogger. But I did my best, and here's what I came up with. Starting with his standard special, he'll actually whip out his tongue. The animation will be somewhat similar to Yoshi's, but there is actually a big catch of how this one works. When Frogger actually picks up an enemy, he'll go straight to them and do an automatic command grab. However, if his tongue touches an item, he'll automatically pick it up or consume it, depending on what it is. If a projectile or thrown item hits the tongue, Frogger will easily consume it and then spit it right back at the foe, working as a deflector. However, flammable items will cause small damage to Frogger. What's even crazier is this standard special is a tether recovery. Frogger will actually cling onto the edge and then go straight back to it. For the Kirby hat of this form, it'll just be a Frogger hat. For Frogger's side special, it is known as Turtle Ride. Whether you're on the air or not, a turtle will appear above Frogger and then start dashing forward with Frogger riding him, working like a cross between characters like Go-Goat and Piplup, with the only exception being Frogger can jump off the character anytime he wants, and the turtle will continue to fly forward, until going off the edge, or disappearing. If you use the side special again, the new turtle will replace the old one. For Frogger's up special, it's the High Jump. This originated in Frogger Beyond. And as the move says, Frogger will do a super high jump. But unfortunately, it only works really well on the ground. If you use this jump special in the air, he'll only go half as high as he needs something to actually jump to, jump high. But here's the twist. If you happen to be near a foe, you can actually do a footstool jump instantly on them, and you can even spike them if they're at a high enough damage. Meaning it's a great kill move and a really good recovery, depending on how well you use it. And for Frogger's down special, it'll be the super jump, which is actually incredibly different from the high jump. As for this down special, Frogger will do a jump flip, which can be used as an auto dodge as well as an attack, working similarly to Sheik and Zero Suit Samus down special. What's also really cool about this down special is you can also cling to walls. For Frogger's final smash, it is called Traffic Jam. When you activate the final smash, Frogger will dash it forward. If an enemy or three are caught, they will be sent automatically into a cinematic, where they'll land right in the middle of traffic and cars start running them over, until a giant big rig appears and runs them over, sending them flying. And with that, we have set for Smash, Frogger. He may not be the strongest fighter, but he is probably the most acrobatic fighter, having moves with good distance and keep off me tools, not to mention to have a good versatile attacks to keep away from his opponents, as well as find a good way to navigate through the stages, just like in the games themselves. Thank you for watching. This is the season finale of Fighter Pass number 3, and even though it's the end of this Fighter Pass 4 is already in development. And here are the next Moveset concepts.